It's Republican Zio Organization 101. I don't know, whatever. It has.
Were there any awkward gestures by Elon Musk and friends, or
no? It's just, there's a lot of other douchery that occurs in this thing. This
little
is
bit of Dr. Strangelove type stuff.
Dude, it is so Dr. Strange. Like, I feel more and more that we live in a simulation. It's just like, this is the dumbest fucking timeline.
Dude, I don't
literally a Great
understand
Gatsby like party the day that people lose their foods. It's
the Hunger Games. Ridiculous. We're in the Hunger Games. It's absurd. Like, the only thing is it's like, we need to all feel privileged that we live in the capital. But at the end of the day, this is the Hunger Games. It's just, you got Haiti is District 12. You know, you've got certain places that are that. But yeah, the Republican Jewish coalition, because that's what we needed, a coalition between. We needed to further cement the coalition of Jews and Republicans.
Well, and of course, what's so funny about this is that place is rife with Christian Zionists who, for folks who don't know, literally the Christian Zionist evangelical rundown of events as they see it is that they have to get all the Jews into the Holy Land, and then that will precipitate the apocalypse, at which point the Jews will burn in hell for all eternity. So y'all are literally, the Jews at that event are literally hanging out with people who are like stoked that they're going to burn in eternal hellfire. I mean, it is, oh, dude.
Well, and I want to put out there that I'm not just going to hell. All right. There's an office with my name on the door. Okay. I'm not concerned about that. All right. My office will be nicely decorated.
Did you see the president like a week ago? He asked him, "Hey, are you going to heaven?" "Oh, no, I'm totally not going to heaven. Believe me, there's no way I'm going there." And I just thought, yeah, well, you know, he's just going to live his life out as long as he can. And he's going to do
the Great Gatsby theme was pretty rich coming from, no, all puns intended, from this.
So and amazing.
I really think, as I always said, he facilitates the revolution. Trump facilitates the revolution because he has done such a good job of pissing off the red team that I didn't even know that was possible to the level that it is. So, I mean, it's really kind of,
well, a lot of his voters lost their SNAP benefits.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So. And I do think that Fuentes is going to become a real force going forward because there is not enough voices on the left. Fuentes did a stream of his the other night, and he actually used the words revolution, that we need a revolution in this country. And all I'm thinking is, you still got streamers on the left with sizable platforms that still think that you can save the Democratic Party. Like, that's how completely disconnected so many people are at this stage. But I would say if there's a silver lining in all of this, it's that the neocon ideology is the first one that's going to fall in this country. And it's vastly on it's very at a pace that has accelerated so fast. I don't even think they've seen it coming. You can credit the state of Israel for playing a huge part of it in the fact that they're just so brazen in how they conduct business. But then you have who we're going to lead off with.
Mark Levin.
Mark Levin is probably, of all of the pro-Israel, anti-American voices in all of corporate media, because he's such a prick.
Well,
like he's at the top. But here's what tough guy Mark Levin had to say.
Have you seen this, Eleanor? Have you seen this thing from our? Okay, I don't watch this either, but this is amusing.
Well, he's tough. He's very tough.
He's very tough.
Just want the anti-American, anti-Israel, anti-West crowd to understand something. You're going to have to come through me and millions of people just like me, and you're not going to make it.
I'll take my chances.
I was going to say, I like those odds.
He looks like a slightly older Rudy Giuliani. Anybody else thinks? Is that just me? I don't know.
No, I could see it without the bleeding hair. Yeah, I could see it.
I don't even know who this person is, which sometimes I am blissfully ignorant of douchebag.
I love that about
talking
you.
Heads.
I love that about you, and I love that for you.
Yes, I have. There's very little space in my head left for extra content, and I try to fill it with cat videos.
Who is he? He's the guy from he's the guy from Fox, right?
So when Fox News was at its peak, let's say 10, 15 years ago, there were a contingent of people that had their channels that were very big, Megyn Kelly had her show. Tucker Carlson had his show. Sean Hannity has always had his show. Fuck Sean Hannity, especially because he's Irish. That scumbag going down with the ship.
But you digress.
But then you also have Mark Levin. And Levin has been there for a long time. And I'll tell you, the one thing about him that has always stood out to me, he is the most miserable son of a bitch I have ever seen. And he is a short man. That's one thing I'll never forget, because I met Giuliani once, and the one thing I still remember most about meeting him was how short of a man he was. He's a short guy. And I'm always skeptical of these Napoleon-like people that end up—
Rubio.
Of course. Just always be skeptical. And that's not to say that short men with power are all bad, but most bad men that are short, that have power, that end up being bad, you can attribute it to the fact that they're a very unhappy person inside. And Mark Levin may say that he's a happy person of some kind, but I sure as shit have never seen it. And this guy is as a Israel first, anti-American piece of scumbag shit that I have ever seen. He actually makes Ben Shapiro seem appealing, which is almost impossible if you really think about it. But he is just one of a few. Let's finish this out, and then we get a little bit more.
You think your stupid little podcast, or your stupid little subscription program, or your little TV show, or maybe you have a little radio show, is going to change the world like hell it is. Not if I and everybody else have something to say about it.
You go, Mark Levin. You show us.
I really expect the next line to be, "You can't come to my birthday party." Like, that's the vibe I'm getting here. I'm getting like 6th grade temper tantrum vibes here.
Well, what do you get from Trump?
See, I don't even want to say it's more juvenile, because that's not fair to kids,
I was
because
going to say,
I've never
mean to
met
your
a kid that
like your
fucked
kid
up.
is infinitely more capable and competent. So, I mean, why would you do
I think
that?
in general kids are, because they actually learn about empathy and fairness. So I actually think the world would be better if like a bunch of 5-year-olds ran it.
It would
Listen,
be interesting. It would be colorful.
Excuse me. Never happening. I'm totally running the world until I'm no longer here. That's what's going to happen. Believe me. And I only supported Randy Fine because he's even bigger than me and he makes me look like a thin person. And that's exactly why. So Randy
But you
Fine.
do know, Eleanor, that they leave you for a while, these boys, right? Like I would say age 12-ish. I'd say 12-ish to like 18-ish. It's like it's they're out there. You know, they start to smell like a foot and wear their hair like alpacas. I'm not entirely sure why, but I am happy to say that they come back. They come back, because I have a 25 and a 19, and they're so nice, those boys, right? Like, so I'm just saying, like, you're still in the glorious 4 to 9 year old range. Glorious 4 to 9 is the beautiful. It's the sweet spot. It really is the sweet spot.
I have a feeling that you and Lee are going to be the cool parents, and all the
They
kids
are the cool parents.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna your kids are not, or kids are not going to be embarrassed by you. I think they're gonna know that you're with it, and you know sort of like the social trends and things like that make them the cool kids and all that good jazz. So
I mean, I'm remarkably socially awkward, so we'll see.
I think you're kind of cool.
You're very cool, but you know what? Because that's the thing. Look, this is what we were talking about this not that long ago, when I don't remember what clip we were watching, was saying how there's all these artists that are saying this about Israel, and I'm thinking, yes, if you are not on the right side of history as the artist, you're on the wrong side of history. You just have to, like, that's just how this goes. And I think people like you, it's like, we're in here. It's like just in here, and the stuff has to get out there. And the problem is people often interfere with the getting of this out there. And unless they're kind of facilitating it, it's kind of, they're in the way of it. And I appreciate that.
Well,
you know what I mean?
From one bad Jew to an even worse Jew, if you can even imagine that. I mean, I still say Wasserman Schultz is the worst of the worst in Congress, but man, Randy Fine is really working hard for that title. Really hard.
I'm here for the kids down here, because it's easy to talk about anti-Semitism on the left. I want to talk about the dark force rising on our side. Multiple speakers have talked about the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. But it is not enough to speak in platitudes or generalities about the fight. We must call evil by its name. 5 years ago, if I was talking to my father, who's watching, hi Dad, if I was talking to my father at 8:59 p.m. at night, he would say, Randy, I gotta go. Tucker Carlson's gonna be on. But make no mistake, today, Tucker Carlson is the most dangerous anti-Semite in America.
Wait, what? What happened?
Tucker Carlson's an anti-Semite.
Not only
I mean, I don't know that I really disagree because none of these people like Jews. To quote Henry Kissinger loosely, if I weren't Jewish, I probably would be an anti-Semite. But I don't really. I'm not following what did Tucker Carlson do?
He's been evolving on this issue. And
I know that he's critical of Israel, so that's what he's talking about, right?
Correct.
So
Okay.
when Tucker did his podcast with Nick Fuentes this past week, and this is what they're all up in arms about, he specifically said, there is no one who offends me more in this country today than Christian Zionists. He says they are the worst. They are committing acts of such heresy against Christianity that they need to be called out for what they are. And it really has been kind of lost on. This is why I think Tucker is the most dangerous in a good way, because he's talking about Christian Zionists. See, as stereotypical as this may be, the Jewish Zionists provide the money. The Christian Zionists are the sheep. They're the flock. They are the millions upon millions of people in the Hagee churches and the Austin churches, and they all listen to these people say, well, you got to listen to what Israel does. They're infallible. You know, we're on board with this, or you'll burn in hell if you don't listen. And it seems that the narrative has been changing ever so slightly to ever so significantly over the past 2 years. Randy Fine, who sat in the Florida legislature for, I think, 10 years between or actually it was about 8 years. Point is, I never saw him wear a yarmulke ever. Now
because he doesn't, and that's the thing, Barack S. We don't mock the yarmulke; we mock it on him for the love of all that is holy. And it is not the same as a hijab on someone like him. He's just an opportunist. He never wore that until he just got stuck in Congress now. He never wore a yarmulke.
The second he got to Congress, he started showing up at every event with it on his head.
Exactly.
Within the course of one election cycle, he's taken approximately $400,000 from the AIPAC lobby. And that's just one. Lord knows how many others he's being funded by. Now, there is a guy who is running against him, and this is a very red district that he represents, but the people there do not like him at all. And he's being challenged in a primary right now. And I think this gentleman, Aaron Baker, is going to be pretty formidable. The Volusia County GOP is already backing him. So from what I can tell, Fine doesn't really care whether he stays in Congress or not. His goal is to become as wealthy as possible by sucking off Israel 24/7. That's my opinion. I haven't seen anything to the contrary to suggest otherwise, because the guy doesn't govern, or legislate. He doesn't do any of that. In fact, the only piece of legislation that he has put forward is calling out people's dual loyalty to other countries except for Israel.
Right.
So I don't know about you.
Are you familiar with Randy Fine?
Vaguely, but I do not follow electoralism. I find it to be, and this is like I'm not throwing shade at anybody who does. It's just not where I feel the most change will happen, can happen.
Agreed.
As somebody who, when I was younger, I worked on John Edwards' campaign. Lord forgive me my sins.
I met him in person. He was very charming, and it was definitely, he definitely was able to like draw us
But
in.
my feeling is that being a history nerd, I feel that the kind of change that's needed does not come from electoralism. Again, I respect people who do work in it and who try to get people like Shama Sawant, elected and things like that. I think that local politics are far more important than federal politics in general. But I think that most of the work that I do, actually like 99.9% of the work that I do, happens outside of electoralism and happens in terms of community organizing and critical media literacy. So I'm aware of who Randy Fine is, but whether I listen to or pay attention to or anything like that about what this penis wrinkle does on a daily basis, I don't. And I don't have like opinions or any ideas of what's happened recently besides what this is and what y'all are saying.
I'm sorry that we're putting this in your brain to add it to your trauma, but what he does do is he eats a lot.
Yeah, and I know you said penis wrinkle, but I have a feeling he hasn't found it in quite some time.
He hasn't seen it. He don't know where it is. You can't find that.
He's got a little bit more. He's not fine. Not at all.
He has chosen to take on the mantle of leader of a modern day Hitler Youth, to broadcast and feature those who celebrate the Nazis, those who call for the extermination of Israel, to defend Hamas, to even criticize President Trump for stopping Iran's nuclear ambitions. Friends, make no mistake, Tucker is not MAGA.
Oh my God, they have signs. Oh, bless their heart.
Tucker's fall from grace has been one of the most extraordinary implosions in political history.
Wow, you don't know history.
And the rapidity of it has created real challenges for us all. Because our friends don't have our shared experience. I even deal with this with my colleagues in the House. See, they remember the Tucker of 5 years ago. They don't live with anti-Semitism.
Oh my God, just go to couples therapy.
The way that we do.
Right?
And it's jarring for them to try to understand, how did this person become who he is today?
This is literally lines from a Lifetime movie.
He's inspired a movement of hate in our midst. And I'm not done calling people out.
Oh no, you're just getting started, right, Randy?
Can you explain that? Of all the little hats one can wear, he wears a red one.
Well, he is a Republican. I mean, it is the Republican Jewish coalition. I mean, I don't know.
And kind of circling back to like the bigger picture, like that is a threat to Jews worldwide. Like,
absolutely.
I mean, you can look at statistically, like before the genocide, every time that Israel bombed Gaza, there was a rise in like attacks against Jews worldwide. People like that talking about Israel equals Judaism, or conflating those two in such grotesque and like simple ways is the largest threat to Jews. And so Israel, I like to say, is the largest threat to Jews worldwide, and that conflation is remarkably dangerous, and why it's so important that there are Jews who speak out against that and make sure that those are separate and continue to be separate. And I mean, I was saying this before October 7th, because of course nothing started on October 7th, but it's like,
it didn't?
I think, hold on to your hat. I know. Like, I feel like that's the thing that we have to keep repeating and never stop saying, that Judaism does not equal Zionism. Because and also recognize that there's going to be more fallout from this, and there's going to be attacks against Jews globally because of what Israel does. And we have to grapple with that. That's one of the things that we have to grapple with as Jews, and really fight against the bullshit that these people are saying. So that, again, even though I don't dabble in electoralism, I'm glad that y'all are like showing these clips and breaking this shit down and being like, this is why this piece of shit is so wrong. I think that's really important, because I have heard from a lot of non-Jews like, oh, well, I don't know about, I've wanted to like organize about Palestine in my workplace, but I'm afraid that people come at me for being anti-Semitic. And then it's like, hey, I'll be your friendly anti-Zionist neighborhood Jew and let me break it down for you. I'm happy to like come speak about it and be like your token Jew or whatever. But like, it's so important to break that shit down wherever we see it. So I think that it is important that y'all are covering this and really making that distinction.